Welcome to Into the Woods, a journey with the tarot. Here, we wander together into the woods to explore ourselves, the world around us, and the mysteries and joys of life through the tarot. I'm your host, Mari, a professional tarot reader and a musician. Grab your deck and off we go. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of my first podcast. I'm so excited to be embarking on this project. I have been so obsessed with the tarot over the last few years. I feel like now I just think about it in relation to all parts of my life, and it's been really fun. Such a helpful tool in just self-exploration, in moving stuck energy, in just finding my way for me personally. After I had my kids, which I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, I was feeling really lost. And it's been an awesome tool for me to kind of find my feet again and take some agency and power back into my own hands. So it's been a great tool for that. So yeah, I'm Mari. I am a tarot reader, and I'm also a musician, a music producer. Most of the work that I do in the world is music related, but I've always had interest and a dedication to spirituality. I've had a meditation and yoga practice for, I guess like since I was 16, I think. I've just been interested in this kind of world for a long time, but it did take me a while to get to the tarot. And I'm just so excited that it's a part of my life now. So excited, in fact, that I felt the need to start a podcast about it. In today's episode, we, of course, have to start with the Fool, the most obvious place to start at the very beginning of our journey with the tarot. The Fool is our card 0 in the tarot, one of the major arcana, but kind of lives apart from everything, or maybe within everything. Sometimes the Fool is thought of as the protagonist, the one who's embarking on the whole journey that's laid out in the major arcana. Sometimes the Fool represents the start or the end of that journey. After we complete the cycle and we come to the World card, then when that's over, we're back to the Fool, right? But we also know that the path of the major arcana isn't necessarily linear, and our lives, our experience of life is not linear at all. So the Fool, or the protagonist, has this magical ability to leap through the order in any which way. This total freedom, which I feel like is really cool because that's how the number 0 feels, right? It's like not affected by any other number. It's just totally free. The number 0 being a circle has all these implications of it relating to a cycle, to completion, to wholeness. And I love that as card 0, it both sets the Fool apart from the deck, but also infuses itself into every card in the deck too. For a while, my favorite card in the tarot was the Star. And then because I'm an annoying rebel type person, I heard like 4 other people say it was their favorite card. And I was like, okay, I've got to find a new favorite card. And I think now my favorite card is actually the Fool. The Fool is all about joy, spontaneously following your joy, curiosity, a childlike wonder, loving and trusting the journey, loving to just wander, trusting the core instincts that we have. And I really mean the ones that we had as a child before it was, kind of strangled out of us by capitalism, which has sort of mixed up all of our instincts, right? We make all these decisions based off of the system that we live in and not so much based off of how our bodies feel or, the seasons or the cycle of the year. To me, the Fool also represents this sort of innate wisdom that our bodies and that children have, which I think is so beautiful. And it makes me think of this time I was sitting in the car with my daughters. My 4-year-old, who is in a forward-facing car seat, was able to see the sunset, unlike my 2-year-old who had to face backwards. And it was this beautiful, beautiful sunset, just all these gorgeous orange and pinks and yellows. And we were like, oh, right, we turned over the hill or something, and both of us were like, oh my goodness. And my daughter just said, my eyes can't stop looking at the sunset, like as if she doesn't have control over her own eyes. like as if her body is like its own separate entity from her, which I thought was really fascinating. And it made me think about the little dog we see in The Fool kind of guiding us, and how like our natural instincts are to go towards joy, towards pleasure. And that's why it made me think of it, because like it was like her eyes knew this is the thing that's going to light you up and make you feel the most joy right now. So I'm going to make you look at it. Visually in the Fool card, we see this character kind of on a edge of a cliff with their head tilted upward, just enjoying the view, maybe enjoying the sun. I use the Modern Witch Tarot deck, so the character is listening to music, so enjoying the music, just really like living in the moment. And yeah, it just made me think of my daughter loving the sunset and feeling like, wow, I just can't do anything but take this in and enjoy it right now. Why is this one of my favorite cards? I mean, to me, it is a really feel-good card. Some people might look at this and say, oh my gosh, that person's about to fall off a cliff, or they're clueless, or, naive, or something like that. But to me, it really does, it like makes me feel good inside. And it makes me feel like there's hope. And also this feeling of freedom, which is really important to me. I think it's extremely important that we are all in touch with Fool energy at all times of the journey. And I think that's, that kind of relating back to what I said about the Fool being able to sort of jump around to different points in the major arcana journey. We should always have the Fool with us, right? We should always have that connection to our body and our childlike instinct and our sense of joy and wonder at all times in the journey. And sometimes it's harder than others. Sometimes it's literally impossible, but hopefully we can get back there before too long. So I've had the Fool come up in a lot of readings lately. The message has been so clear that the answer is to really find some joy, some fun, and to maybe stop taking things so seriously too. So, if you're looking at your career and you get the Fool, then it's, okay, let's drop thinking about all these practical things and think about what brings me joy. What would feel wondrous to bring into the world? What would I have loved when I was a child? What were my silly dreams, right? That felt silly, but maybe had some truth to them, even as an adult. Any little thread like that you can follow. And I just want to mention that although in every tarot book, you will see the Fool as described as the leap, or kind of a point in life where you're taking a leap of faith, I have to say that it doesn't really feel like that as you're living it out. At least not consciously. It's not like you're deciding, whoa, I'm going to leave everything behind and just jump into the unknown and take this huge risk. It really feels more like wandering and just like following the next thing that pulls your attention. And funny enough, like the joke that the Fool plays on us is that often leads to some really important life path. So in my own life, I've lived such a great example of this. I was in my early 20s. I was in grad school. I was working full time. I was like completely overwhelmed, so busy, just burning the candle at both ends. And I just stumbled into somebody that worked at a music production school. I just was so curious about it. I like looked up the website later. I was like, wow, that looks really cool. I want to do that. And I ended up actually signing up for the class, which is where I learned the software that I specialize in now and kind of the basis for all my work. It really became like my life path. But I had no idea at the time. I wasn't doing it for career growth or to get something on my resume. I just was like, I miss making music for fun. And so I'm going to sign up for this class. And then exactly, the Fool played that trick on me. I thought I was just doing it for no reason, and it ended up being the most important thing in my life. So now I want to talk about one of my favorite Fool characters that I've come across recently. And again, I'm a mom of 2 young children. I've been watching Mary Poppins a lot, and I just can't get over how much Bert, Dick Van Dyke's character, is literally the Fool. It's wild. Like, so many parts of his character are the actual, like what you will read about the Fool in all the tarot books. The ability to jump around everywhere. Yeah, Bert turns up everywhere and is always doing something different, right? He's a chalk artist. He's laughing at Uncle Albert's. He's a chimney sweep. He's selling kites. He's taking care of the kids. He's best friends magically with the main character who nobody else seems to know. He can also break the fourth wall and talk directly to us through the TV screen. He's both part of the world and not part of the world. He's also very childlike, is silly. He's bashing his face with a cymbal. He's dancing around chalk drawings. He's making up funny rhymes for people who are visiting him. He's laughing so much that he ends up on the ceiling and has no control over himself. He is just so childlike and fun, but at the same time, so wise. He really brings to mind the idea of the court jester who's both the entertainer, but also like the king's ear, very wise and good counsel. He has all these beautiful lines in the movie. And so I just wanted to bring in a couple of lyrics from there that also, to me, is so much Fool energy.
Chimney, chim, chim, chiroo. I does what I likes, and I likes what I do.
So if the Fool is coming up for you, if you're just feeling like you want to connect to this card, if you're struggling in some area of your life, you want to bring in that Fool energy, that should be your motto. I do what I like and I like what I do. I don't even have time or attention for anything else. Like, I'm just a kid who's walking through life for the joy of it. I just love that. And then, because he's drawing, the next line is like, I draw what I like and I like what I drew. And then later in the movie, he's singing the same tune, but different words. And I just love this so much. So the lyrics are, now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweeps on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this whole wide world, there's no happier bloke. I love that. It's like we're throwing out the rules. Who says you can't be happy as a chimney sweep? That's like the Fool too. Who says I can't be happy as a wanderer? Who says I can't be happy with just the things in my tiny little pack that I brought with me and nothing else? Why would I need anything else? Right? Those are all just stories. And at the core, I'm happy. A few more lyrics here from the same thing. Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, tween pavement and stars is the chimney sweep world, where there's hardly no day and hardly no night. There's things half in shadow and halfway in light on the rooftops of London. What a sight. Just taking in the view, seeing the beauty in everything, right? Halfway in shadow, halfway in light, beautiful light things, dark things, loving the contrast in the world, loving the darkness, the dirtiness of London, but also the beauty and the people. I mean, it's so lovely. So I think the Fool just invites us to have that appreciation for everything around us too, and like seeing the beauty in everything around us, no matter what we're looking at. So if you want to bring more Fool energy into your life, ask yourself, what would Bert do? Okay, so I always like to think about the questions that a card might ask of us. Right? I've already kind of brought up some of those. I wrote some down as I was pondering the card. So if some key words here are joy, carefree, childlike, aligned instincts. Some questions that I'm thinking of are, how can I find more joy along the journey? Right? It's not really about dropping everything to do something like a vacation. It's about just walking around in our daily lives and finding that already existing there. It's like, how can you gamify life a little bit? How can you look around and see funny things, whimsical things, joyful things? And if you're looking for them, you'll find them. Just like how everyone always talks about the red car thing, where, someone tells you to look for red car and then you're seeing a million of them. It's like, can you just fake it till you make it, put yourself in that mindset and just be looking around for things that bring you joy, things that are funny, things that make you feel free. Another one, what sparks of joy and curiosity have I felt lately? Did I follow them? Do I feel free enough to follow them? So if there's been something that you've been wanting to do, like, ooh, my friend's been painting and I would like to paint, and have I taken any action steps towards that? And what, if not, why don't I feel free enough to do so? The first part of that is, of course, thinking back, okay, what did spark my joy and my curiosity? And if you did follow them, awesome. You celebrate yourself. And, if you didn't, don't be hard on yourself. Be kind and compassionate, but think about not what's wrong with you, but what is preventing you? What makes you feel that you're not free enough to do that, right? Is it time? Is it finances? Is it other people needing a lot from you? And just, think about that and where you might be able to carve out a little bit more room for yourself. Another great question from the Fool. What would my playful inner child do, right? We all have like wounded inner children, right? From difficult times, but what would our playful inner child do? The one that made up silly nonsense songs, the one that put on shows for my parents, the one that, didn't care about the rules of the sport, just kicked a ball wherever the fuck I felt like it. What would my playful inner child do? And this could apply to, whatever you're working through in life right now. 2 more. Do I leave any room for spontaneity in my life? If this card comes up, that would be a big question, right? Is everything so scheduled, so controlled, so on lockdown that the idea of just taking a turn and finding a shop that sparks your interest is like, so it just wouldn't even happen, right? Do you leave any room for spontaneity in life? And then lastly, very important one, what am I taking too seriously? What am I taking too seriously? I was a kid who just felt the consequences of things so heavily. Just thinking about my inner child a little bit here, I just thought every decision I made just had the weight of the world. Oh, like I want to quit tennis. Everyone's going to hate me. Oh my God, I'm letting everybody down. All that kind of stuff. That was me. So it's really in my nature to take things too seriously and to put too much weight on just everyday decisions. So for me, maybe this is why it's my favorite card, because it's like, it just gives me this feeling, you don't have to worry about it so much. You don't have to take it so seriously. What am I taking too seriously? What am I taking too seriously? So those might be some fun questions to journal on if the Fool comes up for you. I think maybe I'll make some resources too for like Instagram or my website where I can have these questions written out and you can access them. So more on that later. Using some of these questions, I'm going to suggest a spread for the Fool, a Fool spread. So you can grab your deck if you want to join me. And you can pull cards. We can pull cards together, see what comes up, and I'll kind of analyze mine maybe for myself or for a hypothetical person. And you can do this exercise on your own with your own deck. Just going to do a little shuffling here. Okay, so card 1 is how can I invite more joy into my life right now? Card number 2, how can I let go of the need to know or control the outcome and thereby trust the process or the journey? Right? More. How can I let go of the need to know or control the outcome? And card number 3, what wisdom would my inner child like to share with me right now? So that's going to be our 3 card spread. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we got here. So for card number 1, how can I invite more joy into my life right now? The card that I pulled was the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, the Ace of Pentacles is a card about new beginnings in the realm of materiality. I like to think of the pentacles as ruling over like behavior and some sort of actions in the physical world as well. So what's coming up for me personally is it's springtime right now, starting to get warmer. The pentacle in this card, it looks a lot like the sun. To me, this is like getting outside, starting to get my garden going, being in the earth, right? Getting my hands in the earth. That is a way for me to connect to my joy right now. It's been a long, dark winter here in Seattle. So the overwhelming feeling I'm getting for myself is getting outside, enjoying the sunshine, gardening, and getting my hands on the earth again. Maybe that would be the same for you, but let's see what you pull, and I'd love to hear what comes up for you too. Card 2, how can I let go of the need to know or control the outcome and thereby trust the process and the journey? The card that I pick, another ace. Oh my goodness, the Ace of Wands. And so the wands being our suit all about passion, energy, inspiration, creativity. The wands also are intuition. So for me, what's coming through for me is that trusting in the intuition and like letting that set the path and do the work. And sort of this trust in knowing that if my true intuition and my passion and the things that light me up, right, that wand energy, if that's where my decisions are coming from, then I don't need to worry about the outcome, right? I know that the outcome is going to be for my highest good because I made my decision from a place of trusting my own inner knowing, my own decision making, and knowing that if my kind of heart and passion are into it, that it's going to lead me down the road that I need to be on. So there's the kind of trust in that message there. Card number 3, what wisdom would my inner child like to share with me? And for this one, I pulled the Temperance card. Wow, that's so beautiful. In the deck I'm using, which is the Modern Witch Tarot, the woman is wearing a rainbow striped shirt and she's in a field of sunflowers and grass, and it just like, she looks like an adult, but there's a real childlike energy to that, which I love. It really feels like a direct message from a child or from an inner child kind of character. Of course, we know this card is all about balance, and I'm noticing that her feet are, one's on the ground, one's in the water. So this balance of like sort of emotional life, but staying grounded, I think is really important for me personally right now. Like feeling all the feelings, which I'm not always that great at, but also staying grounded and putting myself in environments and situations that make me feel safe and held. So that balance of grounding and the flow of the water and the emotion. I also always think of this card as like a little nod to connect with spirit guides. The Temperance card is usually we see an angel or a psychopomp, which is like a spiritual messenger. And so whenever this card comes up, it's like, connect with me, which could be either your inner child, like let's go in meditation and have a chat, or it could be spirit guides that you work with, having conversations with them, doing meditations with them, remembering to ask for their guidance, remembering to ask for their help. So that feels like the message from my inner child is like, you're not alone, feel your feelings, be grounded, be in your safe space, love being with your family. And also you have support from the spirit world, from me, your inner child, from your whole team of spirit guides, from loved ones who have passed on. That's always what the Temperance card feels to me. And they are all there helping you to find that beautiful balance in life and to follow your joy. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Into the Woods. I do offer private readings, which you can book at mariofthewoods.com. Come say hi to me over on Instagram or TikTok at Mari of the Woods. And of course, catch me here again next time for more journeying and self-exploration through the tarot. All the music and editing for this podcast is done by me, Mari. Have a beautiful wandering week.